In India, we love our stars, and the way we love them, we sometimes forget the kind of role that visual effects play when it comes to those action sequences that seem to impress us so much, or perhaps even those huge epic war scenes in some of the films that we've seen in recent times, like Bahubali. But talking about the nature and scope of the visual effects industry in India, and indeed animation, it's huge. The business, as it's growing, even before COVID hit us, you're looking at an industry size touching 87.7 billion rupees, which is roughly around 1.25 billion US dollars. This was the case in FY19. And you're talking about a CAGR, compounded annual growth rate, of 18.7%. Now, what are the projections of growth? The CAGR is likely to be 16% by FY24, and you're going to reach 184 billion rupees, which is roughly $2.63 billion. So what's going to spur the growth? Certainly, the pandemic, as it's hit us, is definitely going to have a role to play. Why? Because budgets are constrained in these times when films that were already under production need to be canned. They have had to go and use technology. Of course, what they're going to use is visual effects. What they're going to use is a lot of animation in times to come as well. This is what I've been hearing from producers. Many of these actors, they are not willing to come on the sets just yet to be able to film with an entire crew, a production crew in the studio. What again will come to the rescue? Technology. And you're talking about visual effects as well. So a lot of that from people like Rana Dagubatti, who himself is an actor, but he and his family have been running the Ramanaidu Studios in Hyderabad. And Rana himself started in visual effects before he jumped in front of the camera. And he says the opportunity is so huge in the visual effects industry in India itself, because the need for content is very high right now. Whether you talk about OTTs, whether you talk about the films that need completion, and the films that are likely to be made when the theatres reopen, he believes that it's the big ticket films, the tentpole films, the Bahubali kind of films that will really be what will work over there, because all the other films are going to be available on OTT platforms. So that's going to be a huge game changer, and these films are going to require visual effects in a huge way. Do we have the capacities? Rana definitely thinks so, and many of the producers I've been speaking to talk about this need. The domestic industry itself requires so many visual effects, so much of the animation as well, because television time, television content is growing as well, and so is kids content. You're looking at a lot of animation films. Even a franchise like the Salman Khan franchise, Dabangg, you could easily see his character turning into an animation character, and that could be the next level of growth that you're looking at for the industry, something that's going to propel it. If you look back at films like Avatar and all the spectacular things that it brought to us as audiences, we were completely awed by it. To think that a good percentage of all the visual effects that you saw in such a global success that Avatar was, a Hollywood production, was actually made in India, then you don't need to think too hard about the prowess that India already has. Also, what is pointed out by many producers is the fact that we are very cost effective. All our visual effects are available at a fraction of the cost that they are elsewhere, which makes us another good hub for many producers to come to India and get their visual effects done. So all in all, you're looking at an industry size touching 87.7 billion rupees pre-COVID levels, and perhaps reaching 184 billion rupees by the year FY24. So you're looking at a quantum leap. So given everything, the current scenario as it were, the visual effects and animation industry in India are going to propel in a huge way.